JSB Talks Digital.
Hello and welcome to JSB Talks Digital, the podcast for marketers, digital transformation champions, and those of you bringing your skills into the digital age. I'm Joanne Sweeney-Burke, and this podcast is brought to you by Digital Training Institute. Be sure to subscribe to JSB Talks Digital on iTunes or Spotify. I promise you the 20 minutes you invest each week with me for free will take your digital and social media knowledge to new levels. In this episode, number 85, I explain the importance of creating funnels to take your customers on an online journey. Coming up in today's show, in social media news, watch party for Facebook groups, GIF stickers in Instagram stories, and Snapchat removes the white border from snaps uploaded from camera roll. I interview Ruari Prendergast, co-owner of Galway-based Ingenuity. Shoutouts, 3 lead magnet ideas to kickstart your funnel. Ask JSB in JSB's column, how to convert your content into customers. And find out what social media tool saved my working week.
Social media news.
Facebook is testing a new feature in groups called Watch Party. This follows on from its newsfeed announcement that it will prioritise content that triggers conversations and comments and that is based all around community. In a watch party, members of a group can watch videos together in the same space at the same time. Videos are chosen by the group admins and moderators and can be any public videos on Facebook, live or recorded. With everyone watching, commenting and reacting to the same moments together, it creates a shared viewing experience for video that helps build the kind of community and engagement that we've seen with live. And this also serves to help you get through the Facebook algorithm. With 1 billion people currently using Facebook groups, this is a very warm audience to test the new feature with. Instagram stories just got a whole lot more fun. In a recent update, Insta Stories now allows us to add GIF stickers to any photo or video in our story. To get started, swipe right or tap your icon under Stories to access the story camera as you normally would. Once you take or choose a photo or video, you just tap the smiley sticker icon in the top right corner of the display. When you tap to add a sticker to a photo or video in Stories, you'll now see a new GIF option. Tap to open a library full of hundreds of thousands of moving stickers powered by Giphy. You can browse what's currently trending on Giphy or search their extensive collection to find a sticker for just about anything. So, you know that white border that goes around snaps of photos from camera roll in Snapchat? It's now gone. The ugliness of that feature was so annoying, but it was Snapchat's way of getting us to post fresh, authentic content. But it seems they've done away with the white border police. In a recent iOS update, the white border is gone completely. You will still see a label that has been uploaded from camera roll, just like on shared Snapchat memories.
Interview.
In this episode, I interview Ruari Prendergast. I've been working with Ingenuity on my own online business because it's important to have outside mentors even if you know what you're doing. So I decided to get Ruari on the podcast after one of our recent meetings. Ingenuity describe themselves as a company providing world domination services. They only work on projects where they are confident they can generate 10 times a return on investment. They specialise in education and manufacturing, sales and marketing.
JSB Talks Digital.
Ruairí Prendergast, you are one of the founders of Ingenuity here in Galway, and we worked with each other about a month ago on developing My Funnels for Digital Training Institute. Lots of people are talking online about funnels, but I think we should explain what a funnel is to the listeners.
Yeah, so there are lots of people talking online, and I watch some of the conversations, and sometimes people think people are taking funnels a little bit too far, and so everything is about the funnel. So we'll build a funnel and that will fix our business, that will drive our sales. So I think it's important to, and you and I have discussed this as well, is understand that customer journey. Who is your customer? What are your customers' issues? Rather than rather than what you do as a business, what are your customers' issues? And from that then to build your funnel. So basically, what is a funnel for me? It's like I like to think of it as like if you go out in the field and you're trying to get the cattle in to milk them at milking time in the morning. And what you're doing there is you're taking traffic, you're taking a herd of cows, and you're trying to bring them along a path that you have chosen already, rather than all the paths that they could take and end up in different places. So it's about, so that's why the word funnel is used, because it's about designing that path and then you pushing your client along that path, if you like, or your potential client.
I love that analogy because I'm a farmer's daughter, and I know how to herd cows, and actually sheep are worse.
Okay, actually sheep might be a better one because I know nothing about farming, but sheep sounds better actually.
Yeah, because they have their own minds and they're very stubborn. Yeah. And that's very interesting, designing a path for your customer. Now, I guess we should put this into context and clarify. I guess that journey is right for the customer. It's to their benefit.
Well, that's the whole idea of it. Yeah. So you have to understand your customer first. You have to understand your customer's problems and their needs, and then design that funnel or that pathway just for them. And so it brings them to the solution for their problem. That also happens to be your product or your service.
And I know that perhaps we don't spend enough time doing that. I mean, we spend 4 hours one day just teasing out the issues for my customers who I work with and I've worked with for many years, and I thought I knew them inside out, but nothing will compensate for spending that time and maybe speaking to somebody outside your business who doesn't know your customers so well. Because for me, I find that so valuable.
Yeah, that's 110%, that's it. Because even in our business, we have the same problem as you, because we can't see the wood for the trees in our own business. Whereas, sometimes people come to me and they say things to me and I'm looking at them going, that's exactly what I would be saying to me if I wasn't me, if you know what I mean, So it's really good to get somebody from the outside and for you to kind of maybe stand there and just explain your business, explain the problems you solve, explain the problems that you see in your customers or your clients. And it's really critical to dig down into those problems that your customers have, and not just to take that kind of maybe first level that you see. Or what we like to do is actually talk to potential clients or talk to clients of our clients about this, and actually dig down a little bit further than our client would do, because we find when we dig, it's never the first problem that they articulate that's really the issue. It's usually something that's a little bit deeper and a little bit more fundamental.
And after you've designed your funnel and you've mapped out your customer journey, where do you take the funnel for there, or how does it come alive online?
Right. So the customer journey for usually, I mean, there's lots of different ways of building funnels and that kind of thing. And the customer journey will nearly always start with that first definition of the deep issue that your client has, and putting together a solution for that will attract their attention. Okay. So that, in terms of being live and what that looks like on a website, the first thing that we're going to need is some kind of a landing page for that information to sit on. So that information could be various different things. It could be, for example, an ebook, it could be a video, it could be a podcast, it could be a webinar. Sometimes it's a coupon or a free, if you're talking about a dentist or something like that, it could be a free checkup. So funnels can work for all sorts of businesses, and we deal with all sorts. So it could be any of those kind of things. So the first piece is the landing page, and the landing page displays that problem solution to the client, and it gives us a form that we can actually start to gather information. So depending on what you need from your potential client, that form will look different. So at its most basic level, you need a first name and an email address maybe. And from there then, behind that, we need to be able to deliver what came out of that funnel. So what are we going to, we're going to need a thank you page that maybe delivers the webinar or the coupon or whatever it is, because that's not available until you give your name and your email address. Then behind that, then we usually build out email sequences to bring people along a further path, to bring them closer to becoming a customer.
So on Twitter this week, I got a tweet from somebody in marketing, and they said, really, do people actually want more emails in their inbox? I'm up to my eyes and then I get these emails. Is email not dead? Can we clarify this?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel the same. I mean, do I want more emails in my inbox? Not really. Do you want them? Not really. But the bottom line is, if you've got really good content and you're solving the very specific problems for people, like, so if you've done your homework, then this just works. And I mean, we have any amount of examples that can show you how it works. So I get that feedback all the time from people, and I understand it because I feel the same myself. But one of the problems there is that people are looking at, they're getting a stream of emails that's not of interest to them. So they've signed up to something that's, really, and the content that they're getting is not solving their problems. If your content is solving people's problems, it's going to bring them further down along that funnel. And we see it just every day in e-commerce, in marketing services and our marketing products. It works. Not in every single case, but in about, I would say, 90 to 95% of cases. Email is powerful.
And somebody like me who's creating bucket loads of content, and lots of people are blogging and podcasting and active on social media, if we're all doing that without creating a funnel, are we wasting our time? Yes, we're attracting engagement and traffic, but it's almost like we're only going halfway in our business.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think, it would be like, doing a talk or something like that, and not telling people who you are, right, or how to contact you or something like that, or not having your contact details. Like, you need, like, having that following, having your following on Facebook and your Twitter and everything is great, and having that engagement is fantastic. But how is that going to generate business for you? So when we look at businesses, we're always looking at, what's that bottom line? How many of these, how many clients do you need, or how many of these units do you need to sell, and that kind of thing. And when you look at that, and you're trying to compare that to, at the top end of that funnel, you're looking at the traffic or the engagement or something needs to happen in the middle to grab some information so you can actually try and sell something to these people. And we're not talking about a hard sell here, but try and bring them along that journey to give them what they need, at a reasonable cost. So absolutely, I think there's definitely something missing unless you have that.
And what about the role then of social advertising in driving that relevant traffic through your website, through the customer journey? We live in a remarkable time when the likes of Google and Facebook hold so much niche and specific data on us, and paying to play will definitely generate a return on investment. Is that your experience?
Absolutely, yeah. So I think there's two ways of going about this, and it's down to how quickly you want to scale your business. So if you're not too pushed about scaling your business quickly, if you're looking for growth of 5%, 10%, 15%, or even 20%, then probably organic is okay. If you've got a decent following on your Twitter and your Facebook and, maybe some SEO and stuff like that, that's fine. In general, the clients that we deal with are looking for, 3 times growth or 5 times growth or 10 times growth. And you're not going to achieve that organically. So yes, absolutely, online advertising, pay-per-click is very important. It's the only way that I see to do that. And, your question was about return on investment. There is return on investment out there, but it's also easy to lose your shirt. So the thing to do with this is to test, to put small budgets into things, see what's working, scale what's working, and eliminate what's not working. It's as simple as that, really, when it comes to online advertising.
You have worked with very many organisations in very many sectors, so the proof is in the work that you're doing. Is there a mindset shift? Is there some sort of obstacles when people come to you about how they think funnels are? Are they a bit inauthentic? Are they too salesy? Do people have those concerns?
Yeah, they do have those concerns. So I think one of the big mind shifts for people is to, when they come to me and they say to me, my clients are not on Facebook, or my clients don't search on Google, or all my business is through word of mouth. And that might be fine. If your business is through word of mouth, that's great. But how much has your business grown in the last 3 years through word of mouth? Yeah, maybe small amounts, maybe 5% a year, maybe 10% a year, maybe even 20% a year. But if you really want to scale, you need to go out and find your clients. And, often we have one particular client who sells to women that are 65 years old. And so obviously they say, our clients are not on Facebook. Well, we've proven them wrong by $1.2 million, in the last year. So they are on Facebook. And so not everybody. So you can't. One of the things with online is you can look at the cohort that's around you, and you can talk to your friends and to your family and that kind of thing. But that's not reality. Okay, that's a tiny proportion of the environment. So the only way to actually figure this out is to go out and take your money, put it onto your Facebook advertising, your Google advertising, and try it there. And it's very cheap to do that. You can learn a lot for $100 or €100 of Facebook ads or Google ads.
So let's talk about organisations who are not chasing the euro or the bottom line. Do funnels and does that concept and approach work for not-for-profit organisations that are trying to change mindsets or trying to change a public conversation, or who are trying to get people to take action on a big issue?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. To be honest, it's not something I've thought about a lot because we don't really work with those kind of people that much. But I suppose fundamentally, I know that it is true that you can do that, right? Because it's a similar process. Instead of trying to get somebody to spend money on something, you're just trying to change their mindset in a different way, or trying to get them to take a different action. Whether that's a donation for a charity, which in a way is trying to sell something to somebody, or whether it's getting them to take action or take part in a movement or something like that. I have to say, I don't have experience in that, but it makes complete sense to me that that's a good way to go about that.
I was just listening to Morning Ireland, and over the past couple of days they've talking about the upcoming referendum on Ireland on the abortion issue, and that one of the sides in this debate had hired a digital agency. So I think that perhaps using that model of pushing out information, understanding the cohort of people that you want to speak to, it'll lead to some maybe perhaps very interesting case studies.
Yeah, but I wonder there in that situation, I'm not sure, I'm not familiar with that, but what is that digital agency doing? Because maybe for that kind of an impact, maybe the kind of the organic reach and that engagement through the likes of Twitter, Facebook and that kind of thing might be enough for that. Maybe you don't need to build a funnel that actually grabs people's information to follow up with them for that kind of thing. Now, even if you want to do that properly, or quickly, we're getting close to the date for that. Online advertising might be important as well. But do you actually need to build a funnel for that? I would be interested in kind of looking at that in more detail. I'm not certain about that.
So if somebody's thinking about scaling their business, because this is the reason that we adopt this approach, what are the first couple of things that they need to do? What's the starting point? How do we get started? Okay,
so for me, the very first thing is your buyer persona. Who is your customer? And what problem are you solving for your customer? And when I ask that question to most people, they have an immediate answer that they give back to me, and it's never the right answer, right? So I would suggest that if you're going to do that, think about that and talk to other people about it, because it's very hard. And I know this sounds daft, but it's very hard for you to see the wood for the trees in your own business, and like even in our business where this is what we do, we can't see the wood for the trees in this. We talk to people from outside. So that's the most critical thing, because every time we see this kind of inbound marketing or funnel or whatever you want to call it failing, it's because people have not done that buyer persona research properly. They've not thought about it in enough detail. So don't take, when you talk to your customers or your clients, don't take the first thing they say as being the problem that you're solving. Ask them, why is that? Ask them again, why is that? And why is that? And we usually go, at least 3 whys down to figure out, there's a basic problem there, and it's the basic problems that are annoying people every single day. That's the one you need to get to. So that's the first step.
Then there's software as a service and building your infrastructure also?
Yeah, so there's lots of different software out there that you can use. And do you need software necessarily? It depends on what you're trying to do. I mean, if you're a very small business and you're looking to just build something very, very simple and manual, you can do that. So your normal WordPress site can be your funnel. I mean, really, what do you need? You need the landing page with your offer that will accept that with a form on it that will take an email address. You need a thank you page as well to give that offer to people, and just once you've done that, then take them on to the next stage. And those stages are mainly landing pages, so that's easy. I mean, you can do that on any website. You don't need to buy Infusionsoft or any of those other products that are out there for that. I do buy them because I like them, but I don't think it's necessary. Then you need some kind of email sequencing software, and if you want to do that at a budget, MailChimp. That'll work, you know. We don't use MailChimp for our clients. We tend to use the likes of Infusionsoft, ClickFunnels, HubSpot, those kind of companies. But certainly you can do it on a budget if you want to. So if I had a choice of, you know, if I had a limited budget, and would I spend that budget on the platform or on the advertising, I'd go straight to the advertising and try and build the funnel cheaply myself to start with, and then look at doing something more advanced later on.
Okay, Ruairí Prendergast from Ingenuity, based here in Galway, but obviously operating on the global stage thanks to the internet. Thanks for joining me on JSB Talks Digital.
Thank you very much, Joanne.
Shoutouts.
In this part of the show, I give shoutouts to brands, organisations or individuals whose work online is remarkable and worth talking about. In this episode, I'm sharing 3 lead magnet ideas to help launch your sales funnel. So what is a lead magnet, I hear you ask? Well, it's a piece of valuable content you provide to your ideal customer in exchange for their contact information. The lead magnet should solve a problem that you have identified for your customer. As we heard Ruairí say earlier, spending time understanding your customer is the key to online success. The goal of the lead magnet is to maximise the number of targeted leads you are getting for an offer. Remember, you must explicitly declare that by getting the lead magnet, they may also be sent other relevant and targeted information. So be sure to have this outlined in your sign-up disclaimer. Always be upfront with your customers. Remember, we are here for the long haul in business and not for the short gain. Customers should also have an option to unsubscribe at any stage with their data being deleted from your database. So, with all of that cleared up, let's take a look at my top 3 lead magnet ideas.
1.
Producing an essential guide to is a popular and trusted lead magnet. I'm currently working on a digital communications guide for public sector marketing pros. I know they are transitioning into full digital communications territory, but there is a lot of work to make that happen. So, with my guide, I will set out the steps they need to take to ensure all marketing teams are on the one page. What guide can you create for your ideal customer, and what problem is it solving?
2.
JSB loves a checklist, and I think I'm not alone. I have developed a checklist for press officers on how to repurpose their press releases for online reach. By following my 10 steps, suddenly a traditional press release has the potential to rank on page 1 of Google, exceed traditional media exposure with online amplification, and even drive audience leads such as registrations, bookings, sales, subscriptions, or whatever your call to action is. What checklist can you develop to help your ideal customer out?
3.
Templates provide a blueprint for a particular task to be carried out. I have developed a template for my customers on how to deal with a PR crisis in the digital age. Having templates shows your expertise in your area of work and also provides great value to your customer. What template can you provide to your customers that will persuade them to go further into the customer journey with you? If you want to see examples of these lead magnets, log on to the blog post associated with this podcast at digitaltraining.ie.
Ask JSB.
What is a funnel? This is a common question that I get asked all the time. But in this week's Ask JSB section, I'm answering a different funnel question. And that question is from Anne-Marie, who reached out to me on LinkedIn. She asks, how do you know if your funnel is working? Great question, Anne-Marie. Understanding your audience and their pain points is the first part of establishing your funnel. But you're right. You need to know if it's working or not. The tools you use to set up your funnel will be crucial here, and the data insights those provide. There are 3 key metrics that you want to measure to establish whether your funnel is doing what you want it to do. Firstly, traffic to your landing page. This is the web page that you are navigating your audience to. Secondly, clicks and uptake of your lead magnet. This requires your audience to respond positively to your lead magnet and providing you with their contact details to be taken further along the funnel. Thirdly, conversion. This is when your ideal prospect decides to buy from you, or in the case of public sector or non-profit marketing, they take you up on your offer, for example, to join a community. Can I give you a word of caution here, Anne-Marie? It's unlikely you will get it right first time. It will require a bit of A/B testing and trial and error, so please don't give up on the first go. I should also point out that your funnel will most likely involve multiple steps before there is a transaction, and by mapping out your customer journey, you will be able to build out your funnel. Don't forget, if you have a burning social media or digital marketing question, simply click on digitaltraininginstitute.ie/askjsb and leave me a voicemail. You can also send me your questions to any of our social networks.
JSB's column.
In today's JSB's column, I take you through the process of how to convert your content into customers with your sales funnel. Content marketing is not just about being good at creating content, you need that content to convert. The secret to content converting is understanding intrinsically your audience subsets. I recently spent 4 hours brainstorming and fleshing out my ideal audiences and their problems. While I know my ideal customer because I work with them on a daily basis, I still had to take a step back and reflect on how I could help solve their problems online. Taking time out of your busy daily routines is vital to allow valuable thinking time. So, here's how I designed my funnel content that I know will convert into customers. Tap into the customer's pain point. Take one big issue for your prospect and speak to them directly with your language and tone. Then you have to illustrate your authority. It's not good enough to simply know what your customer's problem is. You have to explicitly tell them that you are the go-to expert on this matter by providing the evidence. Then, of course, you're going to provide a solution. When presenting a problem in your content, it's vital you offer a solution. Repeating and rehashing problems will not win you favour online without being able to step in to offer real solutions. Then you have to move on to creating diverse content types. By now, we all know that our audiences span multiple digital channels and consume multiple content types. It's therefore important that you provide your ideal prospect with a range of content types. For example, I produce video, podcast and blog content, which is consumed on multiple channels, such as my website, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, and resent via my email list. I then repurpose the long-form content into short, bite-sized social content. Then it's time to amplify for greater reach. In the noisy world of social media, it's really important to target our content using the available advertising platforms. Social advertising also allows us to build up what I call warm or interested audiences that will see our content. After all, we want people who want to hear from us to consume our content. And those that we don't want to see it, let's not bother them. Finally, it's time to measure and iterate. By testing your content and your funnel, you'll get a real sense of what is resonating with your audiences. This is an ongoing process requiring performance measurement and iteration of tactics. If you would like to hire JSB to help you develop your content marketing funnel, as part of your overall digital marketing strategy, then get in touch. Simply drop me an email to joanne@digitaltraining.ie.
Social media tool of the week.
The tool that saved my working week this week is LearnDash. LearnDash is a learning management system plugin for WordPress. If you are selling online courses or have an in-house academy structure for continuing professional development, then you will need an online education and learning platform. WordPress is responsible for about 20% of the world's websites, and so many of us users love a plugin that will give us customized functionality. I use LearnDash for my online policing course and will probably use it for this year's online programs for public sector marketing pros. In LearnDash, you have 4 separate custom post types: courses, lessons, quizzes, and certificates. In addition to these, you also have an advanced quiz area, which is separated from its plugin counterparts and shown at the bottom of the WordPress dashboard. Since the plugin uses custom post types, the editing area for entering course and lesson content looks exactly like the regular WordPress editing screen, with almost all the same controls, including featured image. So, if you can use WordPress, you'll be able to use LearnDash. Find out more at learndash.com. Thank you for tuning in to episode number 85 of JSB Talks Digital. As always, I have everything discussed on today's show on my award-winning blog at digitaltraining.ie. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. We're on iTunes, Spotify, Libsyn, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. I also want your questions and ideas for topics on social media or digital marketing. I'm always looking for new ideas. Send me a tweet to a Tweets by JSB. Get in touch via our Facebook page. It's Digital Training Institute. You can snap me to JSB Snaps, and you'll find me on Instagram at JSBgrams. I'm Joanne Sweeney Burke. This is JSB Talks Digital. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you soon.
JSB Talks Digital.